guys hear me now? Are we good? Sorry to waste your minute, but whatever. We're coming back here to the dojo. It is your Normies Sensei Master Contributor Normies and Nerds. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel here. Look, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what was going on, but Streamlabs likes to act stupid sometimes and resets everything. But we're on. What is up? And let me say what's up to everybody in here for listening. What is going on? Thanks for being the best moderator on YouTube. Thanks for dropping in that Discord. I mean, make sure you go and join the Discord because actually we're going to be posting the forums tonight. I set up the questions for the predictions for Hawkeye episode 4. So you want to make sure you get in the Discord for that. What is going on? Daniel Fisher, how's it going, man? I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good, man. You got me now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with streaming. It's like I just had to reset. But it is what it is. I'm so glad you guys are here tonight, man. So glad you guys are here tonight. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me in the dojo. Let's see here. So we got a good show tonight. One, I want to talk about Daredevil. Charlie Cox coming back into the fray, into the swing of things. What that means, and honestly, like, I'm kind of here for what this could mean. Like, as far as we kind of got a hint of how they might do this with Kingpin coming into the Hawkeye series, into the MCU, with it being Vincent D'Onofrio. So I would love to see how this is going to play out with Charlie Cox coming in into the series here, and you know what it might mean for the universe. You know what I mean? Hey, Abby Cage, what's going on? How are you going, girl? How are you doing? Yo, is my nose running?
We know we'll be into it most of the night.
But also, I want to talk about this Into the Spiderverse episode 2, right? I mean, Into Spiderverse 2, the sequel. It's actually called what? Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Crazy name. But I really want to talk about it and get into the hype for it. Honestly, I saw a little bit of talk on Twitter, and I want to bring that talk into the dojo. Is Sony Marvel getting close, stepping up, or even beating Disney Marvel, the MCU, when it comes to this hype train and stuff like that? I want to talk about it because it's interesting. To me, I think there's a point and there's something that people can point to. I don't think it's as crazy as a dismissal argument that you could push to the side, like we could have maybe a year or two ago. But I think it's a very interesting conversation to have. So I want to talk about that tonight. And then also, we're going to be talking predictions for Hawkeye episode 4. What we could be looking for there. I'm going to put we're going to do like a little Google survey. But I want to go over the questions with you all here and give my predictions here on the stream. And then we're going to be putting it on the Discord tonight. So the questions really are, you know, about the episode we're going to see in episode 4. Now how this will work is you fill in your predictions, whatever you get right. Right now I have 11 questions, right? So if you get a certain amount of points, if you're in the top tier of points, you'll rank up here in the dojo. You'll go from being where everybody's going to start off as a white belt, then we're going to go to yellow belt, then green belt, then purple belt, then black belt. I know that's not like how the official system goes, but we only got like 5 episodes left. So I want to talk, you know, just kind of stack it up like that. Actually, what? We have 5 episodes. I think it's 9 episodes. Actually, we might have just 3 episodes left. Regardless, I want to make sure people can get the black belt. So we're going to be doing that. So you want to participate. You want to get in there. And if you're on the black belt, I'll put like a name of honor or something like Santa does. I'm totally just ripping off Santa. But he doesn't do this for the MCU. So we're going to put like your black belts on the screen here. All right. So the people get the highest belts on the screen. I think it'd be pretty cool. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes tonight. Let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. First up, I want to start off with the Charlie Cox things, right? And there's a reason why. You know, I feel like this can lead right into the next conversation here that we're going to have about Spider-Man. But I want to talk about Charlie Cox and, you know, not even the possibility, the confirmation that he is going to be in the MCU, what we might see him in, and what have you. And so here's the article. This comes from Cinema Blend. This actually what he talked about actually in an interview that he was doing with Amy Pascal. I'm not sure when that joint aired. I think it aired like this morning or maybe last night. But either way, it says, over the years, certain actors have grown to become synonymous with the Marvel character. They were hired to play Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Chris Evans has claimed the fabric of Steve Rogers. Some roles can get recast, like Edward Norton handing Holt to Mark Ruffalo or Don Cheadle replacing Terrence Howard. But many lay claim to that character, and that's final. That's how many MCU fans feel about Charlie Cox and his portrayal of the blind attorney Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. There have been some calls for Cox to bring Cox over to the MCU and allow him to keep playing the man without fear. And it seems like Marvel Studio President Kevin Feige has been listening. And I was just going to come down here to the quote because I don't want to read this whole thing. But in the quote it says, "If you were to see Daredevil in upcoming things, Charlie Cox, yes, would be the actor playing Daredevil. Where we see that at, how we see that, when we see that, remains to be seen." Let's get back out into the dojo. All right, so first off, we kind of already knew that, right? We knew that Charlie Cox was going to be playing Daredevil, but to have Kevin Feige come out and confirm that for everybody to know and hear, I think that's very dope. I think that's a very cool thing for him to do. Now, I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about where he could come up at. Then I also want to get into where, what this could mean for his character, how they could execute it with his character, in whatnot, what this can maybe mean for other Marvel characters, right? But in this case, where we could see him at? He says in upcoming things, and we got a lot of upcoming things, right? Like you got Moon Knight, you got Spider-Man you got Spider-Man No Way Home, you have Hawkeye out right now, you have She-Hulk coming. There are a number of things for Daredevil to show up in and for Daredevil to come into that it would make sense, right? Like all of those names that I've just mentioned off would pretty much make sense at this point, even to the point of Hawkeye. I can see a way in the lane for Daredevil to work his way into Hawkeye, and it's obvious. Like you have Echo, you have Kingpin in there now. Like I think, and you're working in the underground world of New York. I think there's a great way for Daredevil to come in, and even I wouldn't even be surprised if he is somebody that Hawkeye met, right, as Ronin, or is that maybe he ran into as Ronin. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be surprised if they had that dialect. So that's dope, and I would like to see him pop up. And honestly, I would love to see him pop up in Hawkeye. Jason, what is going on, my man? Jason Strope, what's going on, bruh? I would love to see him pop up in Hawkeye. That's like my fan choice. And I know it might be like, well, I just want him to show up as soon as possible, right? But nah, not really. Like, I think there is a really great way to bring him into Hawkeye and for him to add another element to Hawkeye. Like, the conversations that they have, I think, could be very great. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of good that can happen if he comes in Hawkeye and that's some good conversation. But also, too, I think it'd just be dope to see him maybe have a fight in Hawkeye. Like, I would just like to see that Arrow kind of thing going on. And they get my man's Clint with his Hard of Hearing. And I feel like in the finale, he's probably I feel like he's going to go over an arc this time to where he's really not depending on hearing. And it's like, yo, his sight might be his sight. So what's crazy is, and I'm not going to get too far off into it because we're talking about Daredevil. But what's crazy is like it's kind of the same sense of, losing a sense, your other one will get stronger. And what I'm seeing possibly happening with Clint, it's the same thing that's going on with Echo. It's giving Echo her powers of being deaf and being able to like focus on her vision. Well, in this case, it's like, damn, if Hawkeye does the same thing as Echo, how much powerful will Hawkeye be by the season finale? So that's something to get off to the side. We might talk about that later tonight when we're talking about episode 4 predictions. But I'm just saying that's how it would be cool to get Hawkeye and Daredevil on the same screen, and Charlie Cox to play that is definitely the best thing they could have thought of bringing him over. Now, what this means for the character, right? So we kind of got a hint of this by seeing that Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be Kingpin. Is that they're treating him one of those Marvel variants, like the Netflix show. That Charlie Cox was a variant. All right, we in Star Wars MCU OG. What's going on, my man? Like, so don't we have to think about it, right? As like now those people being variants. That's how it is. I think it's kind of getting more confirmed that those are variant versions of these folks, because Kingpin, we already know Kingpin is like fattened up. He's a big boy. Might even have some like yo, I would love a comic Kingpin. Like I think that'd be dope. Even the one like we got in Jedi Jin, go back to lurking, girl. If you driving, just lurk. I appreciate you being here, homegirl. But nah, wouldn't it be like I like the Fisk. I like the Wilson Fisk in Into the Spider-Verse, and I want to see something similar to that in the live action. And there seems to be they're going to be giving us that version of it, right? Seems to be they're going to be giving us that version. So with that, it's different than the Netflix characters. But he's been established here. I feel like all of these folks have been established in the MCU. However, we haven't seen them yet. They're just in a world that we haven't seen. So if there is a Daredevil out there, if there definitely is a Daredevil. But him being in our MCU, I think that could be dope. And for him to already be there, and now he's probably getting more involved. That's why I would really like to see him be involved with Clint, because that could put him more on the Avengers radar, right? So like this whole time, let's think about like Hawkeye, and again, this kind of ties in. Like we see Kate Bishop has been in this universe. She's like, they call me the greatest archer. She's very skilled. You have these people that after the events of the first Avengers, people like Kate who have dedicated their lives to being heroes. So I feel like there is a world of heroes out there that we had just not come across yet. Shang-Chi, for example. The Eternals about to stuff. You know what I mean? So this is something that's not new, and I think it's really nothing to really carry on for what happened in Netflix. But it's going to stand out on its own, and we're not going to need a lot of explanation. And that goes to our vote. We got 7 votes in on this, and did I say does Deadpool? Oh my God. Did I say Deadpool? Y'all know what I meant, right? Damn. Somebody could have been like, here's my. See, I'm glad we don't have a lot of. I'm gonna ask this question again. I'm gonna ask it proper. That's why I don't think that Daredevil, Deadpool. That's why I don't think. That's why I don't think Daredevil really needs another origin story in this. Like, let Daredevil be introduced in She-Hulk or No Way Home or Hawkeye, and we know who he is. We don't need to see him lose his vision. We don't need to see him go through stuff. I definitely meant Daredevil. I definitely meant Daredevil for listening. I hate that I just saw it just now. She's like, I was confused. Yo, like, bruh. Like, yeah, because we definitely ain't talking about Deadpool right now. But I think the answer would still be the same, right? I think we still get the same answers, and that'll be no. I think we'll probably get a resounding no on this one too as well. I don't think we need it at all, to be honest with you. So like, just bring him in, have him in the room. He's gonna be in a yellow suit. So I'm cool with that. Now, ways that they can bring him into No Way Home, I think it's more likely that he might just make a cameo in No Way Home. He is a lawyer, going to be looking to possibly do some cheap work for Spider-Man or what have you. So I would look at that, and then also She-Hulk. Like, I've been thinking of like what's going to propel. So you know I'm talking about how Daredevil is like low key right now. I've been thinking about what's going to prepare Daredevil to the next level. And that would be working with these Avengers. That would be working with someone like Spider-Man. That would be working with someone like She-Hulk. Got that new baby. I guess, Felicity. I guess is what got to me. But, Daredevil in these upcoming series, he's going to be interacting with She-Hulk. She-Hulk cousin is an Avenger. Like, you know what I mean? So these things are coming together as to where it would make sense for us to be seeing more Daredevil. Even though he could have been doing more underground stuff. Seeing Daredevil pop up in real life. Seeing Daredevil pop up in this new stuff here would diegetically make sense just because he's kind of stepping up in his interactions. He's kind of getting a big break. I think he and She-Hulk will be dope. Definitely. All right, but let's switch the gears here. All right, let's get into the Spider-Verse talk. And first off, do you guys mind? Can we watch the Into the Spider-Verse trailer together? Can we do that? Can we do that in here? Would you guys mind? We watched the Into the Spider-Verse trailer together. All right. I do have that new baby on my brain though, don't I? So let's see. Let's see. All right. So let's be out here in the training grounds, and let's just watch this together. And I'm gonna keep an eye out to make sure.
She was a bad bad, nevertheless. Calling it quits now, baby, I'm a wreck.
Maybe if I sing over it, I'm gonna get copyright, right? Like if I just sing over it. But yo, I think this is like, bruh. I love this Spider-Man. This is probably my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Oh, what?
Kenny,
When?
bruh.
How did you get? How have you been?
It's a long story. Is this the room you grew up in?
It is.
Y'all hear it good?
But my dorm room is very adult.
Right. No, of course. Hey, are these your drawings?
What? No,
Oh,
no.
they're good.
And we're like, yo, my house looks older. I don't know how much time has passed, but it seemed like, you know, it's a post-credit scene.
Missed you too.
Okay. So, what are you doing here? I mean, I thought I'd never see you again.
Want to get out of here?
I'm grounded.
Bummer.
What?
Damn. Oh yeah, and also too,
Spider-Man
the device.
grounded?
There's talk of the device that's on the arm
I mean, I
of Gwen Stacy. That's definitely just a bracelet to be able to get the multiverse. All right, this is where I'm probably gonna need it because I think that's how. I love that the Asian I heard in years past. Yeah, I love that the Asian too. He looks stronger in moments here. Mika! Oh. Hold up. I got a warning. Says we detected copyrighted audio. Let me pause. Catch myself. I'm gonna wait till it goes away. Yo, but so far, like I said, I love what they've done here so far. Like the portal switching through, like the portal going, and I think I can just bounce around here. So like this whole portal going through the multiverse, I think is very key, and I want to look a bit closer. Like seeing the vibes that they give off, like these purple colors, like these webs. Like if you're thinking about similar to what's going on, Trev, what's going on, bruh? If you're thinking about similar to what's going on with Hexagon's love, we absolutely love Hexagons in the MCU. Absolutely love Hexagons in the MCU. But when you're thinking about the scene was, it was just dope. I gotta read that comic, that highway. It was in there. But yo, so this looks a bit like the breaking of the multiverse that we see in What If, right? Like that kind of fractured glass type of deal, right? Like the different timelines you could pop into. This is what that somewhat seems like. And it seems like the device they have going on here, first off, the webbing makes me feel like it's kind of that case, but it's more the webbing representing like the different universes that they're just able to pop into. Like I feel like these universes, I'm not afraid to move myself here. But I feel like this universe right here, like this is a universe, this is a universe, this is a universe, this is a universe. And those are how those things that kind of tie on threads or what have you. You get to your different Spider-Verses. And yo, I think that's dope. He's literally going across the Spider-Verse. All right, so we're going to watch the rest of this here. I think I'm going to do it without audio because it started playing the music and it picked it up. You're like, whoa. Y'all want to hear my, whoa, yeah, oh shit, he got my ass. Oh shit, this is 1928. Oh fuck, man, Japan. Oh shit. That's like the audio description of what was going on. All right, cool. So first off, let's just talk about that trailer because I think that trailer is absolutely dope. I love that trailer, and like I said, I will go on the record and say Into the Spider-Verse was probably my favorite Spider-Man movie. To be real, like the way it looked, the vibes, like I was immersed in it off rip, and it was just lit. And honestly, like it's way better than anything that came out of Amazing Spider-Man. Like, bro, I'm sorry, it just is what it is. Like, it's probably my favorite. The breaking of the multiverse would be the thing that makes the inheritors notice. I feel like we're getting Moreland or inheritors in this movie. Oh, I don't know. I gotta search the inheritors. Who the inheritors, Trev? I gotta search the inheritors. But what this means for like what we're like where's that? Because inheritors come. But no, when we're looking at what we got in this trailer here and like going through the multiverse, breaking things open, I love how just one of the vibes of keeping that going off that we got in the first movie, how that seems to be going and continue to keep growing there, and the looks that we got. And I'll come back out here to the training ground. Like the looks that we got in Miles, like it feel like we got the same vibe and we're keeping going, keeping it moving. But also too, like these people coming into live action, bro. And like to me, there's no doubt about it. Like you're setting. This is a clear setup. This is a clear setup. Going across the multiverse, like, bruh, you're clearly setting up for these people to come into live action. Now, when that will happen is very interesting. I cannot wait, but I think it's happening in No Way Home. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to go in this conspiracy. I don't want to be that dude that's just about to spout this out and go crazy. But they're setting things up to me to where it's like when Doctor Strange is like, they're coming, I can't stop them. Yo, what if we get the people like Miguel and we get Miles and we get Gwen coming into No Way Home? Like that's what we're kind of look like. That's possible. And to be real, this kind of look, this kind of vibe really reminds me of what it looked like at the end of that movie. I mean, at the end of the trailer where Doctor Strange is stopping the people from coming in. That really reminds me of what it looks like. And to be honest, like, it's possible that he could be trying to stop them from coming in. So, how much do you want to bet Spidey Ock made those? Yo, that would be lit if Spidey Ock made those bracelets. That would be lit. But, like, it's just very crazy, like, the way that this thing could be split now and the way we could be building. So that gets to the question: is Sony hype getting up there to Marvel? Let me ask you, is Sony Marvel closing in on the MCU? Now, like I said, this is a question. This is something that I think was more preposterous about a year ago. I think I have an idea, but you're going in the opposite of what I'm thinking. What are you thinking, Trev? What you thinking, Trev? Is Sony Marvel? Is Sony Marvel catching up? This is the poll we about to put in here. Is Sony Marvel catching up? Sony Marvel hype past bigger than MCU hype. And this is like, this question here is like, can be a little colluded because this sounds like way too many characters. MCU doing too much. They should have went street level at the end game. But Felicity, it's like the same thing though. Like going street level at the they kind of did. Like with Shang-Chi and with Black Widow, like those two properties were very like kind of one-office, right? Like kind of not like too much. You're not bringing in too much, especially Black Widow. Black Widow was very low key. So, and people wanted more. So I don't know. Like I think it's a perfect time to inject some life into it because it seemed like Multiverse of Madness is gonna be wild. Let's see. All right, Trev. I'm actually about doing that when we get to the final round grounds. If you're still around, I'll call you on here because I gotta set up these predictions too. All right. Let's see here. I put out the poll because, but yeah, stick around, Trev, because I'll definitely probably pull you on here. All right. So we got half and half. One says yeah. One says nah. All right. Here's the thing. Right now, I'm gonna say no. Right now, I don't think the hype for Sony Marvel is above Marvel. Now, the reason why I say that is because basically, this Spider-Man, I know he's Sony Marvel. I mean, I know it's like in conjunction, but really he's Marvel. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't think Kevin Feige is gonna let go of Tom Holland. Like, when anything involving Tom Holland, being the star of the movie, that's his movie, I'm going to say that's his. Like, at least for now, the way things are set up, that's Marvel. That's DC Marvel. So like that's what they have there. So that's that's what I'm looking at there. When we get to the other properties where you have like more Morbius, you have like Venom, those things over there, Into the Spiderverse. That's what I consider there. So you have the hype, I think, is growing for Spider-Man in general, for the Spider-Man universe. I think there was way more hype this time around for Venom 2 than there was for Venom 1. You know what I mean? I think Morbius is getting some looks in the nerdy community that has people excited about it. But at the same time, I feel like once we get past No Way Home, then Multiverse of Madness kicks out. I think Multiverse of Madness will be the one of the key things that determine whether or not the hype is leaning more towards Sony Marvel. If you're restricted to this year, Felicity says the Spidey can go back to street level at the end game. This is Jason Stroke. Felicity says if you restricted to this year, Sony Marvel wins hands down. Disney MCU is not making profit this year. We already know that. Yeah, if you do just restrict it to this year. But I'm also thinking about the hype too, right? I'm thinking about the hype of what's coming up. And I don't know, like I think right now they're on their way. I think they're getting to a spot that right now they're on their way to grow and that they won't need the MCU. And I think there's a thin line of what Disney is doing with playing with this, because allowing them to do this with Tom Holland in the MCU with Doctor Strange and stuff, allowing it to do it this way and to play a big role of what we're doing in the MCU, that could make it very dangerous. Now, like if there's a deal going on with Sony and Disney as to where like the money can go both ways or what have you, knowing that some of their Spider-Man stuff that's going on is because of the MCU, because technically right now all of that stuff has been canon when they come into the MCU. So like, you know what I mean? So by bringing these characters in there, all of them are canon to the MCU, so they are somewhat profiting off of the fact that this is loosely in the MCU. But at the same time, they're building their shit. So right now, I would say no. Because at the end of the day, all the hype that's around Sony is because of the MCU. That makes sense. And that's not even just talking about No Way Home. But let's be real. Some of the hype about Venom is about him coming into the MCU. Morbius, hype about that is some of the stuff coming into him. You know what I mean? So that stuff is tied into the MCU and why the hype is where it is. So I'm going to continue to give it to the MCU. But here's the thing. If these movies deliver, and that's one thing too. Like I think the reason why I would say it's not bigger, the hype isn't bigger, is because people went to go see Venom 2, but it didn't really deliver until the post-credit scene, which is tied into the MCU. So did it really deliver? You know what I mean? Are these things delivering? No, not yet. But if Morbius delivers, okay. Into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse is definitely going to deliver. So the next stab at their live action Spider-Man, If that delivers, and I'm not talking about Tom Holland, whether they're going alive Miles Morales or whether they're going with Garfield, you know what I mean? Marvel Maniac, how's it going, brother? How you doing? The next one of what you're going to, that has to slap. If those, you know what I mean, if they consistently put together great movies, if they consistently put together good movies, then I think they could, the hype that's being built around Spider-Man, like the hype that's being built around Spider-Man and these characters tying into the MCU, the need for them to have these MCU characters, the need for them to be in that universe, I think will die down. And I think they can split off. So my vote would be like, nah, right now. I would say they're on their way. If they deliver, they can be on their way. So we're Spider-Man, and that's crazy. Like, imagine a world where the Spider-Man universe could have more hype than the MCU universe. Now, let's just be real. We still have X-Men coming up. We still have Fantastic Four coming up. So, like, how long would that hype be bigger than Marvel's? I don't know. Because honestly, too, Marvel could straight up bomb the X-Men. Marvel could straight up bomb the Fantastic Four. So we think it's going to be dope, like Eternals could have been dope, but it's not. You know what I mean? So they could straight up bomb it. But again, they're 1 for 3 right now. Shang-Chi was lit. So I'm not going to say they're going to bomb it. All right. So I was kind of feeling a little down on Marvel for a little bit for a second. I don't know if you guys caught it. I don't know if you guys caught it in my voice, but I almost got a bit down on Marvel for a quick second there. I don't know what was happening. I was about to go in. Let me get into the comments here. Since if you restricted to just this year, Sony Marvel won hands down. All right, we talked about that. Got to go Secret Wars Battle World, but they did go street level with the series, and we'll continue that. Yeah, and Jason Sharp, like I said, I think they went lower. It wasn't street level, but it wasn't Avengers Endgame. It wasn't big game level when you talk about Natasha, right? It wasn't like in the world level. And they're currently going really street level with Hawkeye. And I feel like they went street level with Falcon and the Winter Soldier too. The series are losing viewership with each passing show. Hawkeye's probably the best show they've done with the lead character and people aren't watching it. That is facts, Felicity. Like, what the fuck are people not watching it for? But actually, I showed it to my wife for the first time this episode. Like, I showed her the first episode for the first time today. And she liked the show. But a great point that she's brought up that I hadn't touched on was that the acting is not up to par like we had gotten in these other series. And that is facts. Like, there hasn't been a single actor in here who I've been like, they need to be Emmy nominated. So she does have a point, and I don't know if that could be the lack of it, or honestly if it's just the lack of interest in Hawkeye. But damn, I'll be damned. I think Hawkeye is probably the most solid. It's definitely solid. Like, the thing is, other shows I feel like weren't as solid, like had great moments. Like, so far, Loki, the last 2 episodes of Loki elevated Loki to be the best Marvel show on Disney Plus. You know what I mean? And that's for me. And then after that, it was WandaVision, then What If, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But honestly, like, this joint has been so solid. Like, I haven't been blown away. I haven't been wild like I was at one point in Loki. But it's just I've been more consistently entertained than what I was with Loki, if that makes sense. So to me, it's definitely solid, the most solid one. And I'm kind of pissed that nobody's really watching it. Not pissed, but it's like kind of just like damn. Kind of just like damn. But Marvel Maniac, it's good to see it, man. So I agree, the MCU shows aren't hitting, and multiverse will lose to Normies. I think Hawkeye is good, but everyone won't give it a chance because of the other does. That is a great point too as well. That's a great point too as well. And honestly, Spider-Man needs to save the MCU. Now, I don't know, like, I think Spider-Man might be one of the simpler ways to bring in the multiverse. But also, too, I think that Marvel may be doing something that this channel tries to do. And that is turning normies into nerds. I think that might be a bit what Marvel might be trying to do, as they could be rolling out more content, more like premium ways or what have you, if things could be becoming more expensive to get. I don't know. I think they may be trying to make more people into nerds, and that they might not care about that many people watching these shows on Disney Plus. Now here's the thing, I know they want to make some money or what have you, but every show on Netflix doesn't hit. So every show on Disney Plus can't hit. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the nerds are gonna watch. We're always gonna watch. And you're giving content for people who want to be bigger nerds to dive into. It's like people who are going to come out of No Way Home are going to be wondering about the multiverse. Then they're going to want to watch the What If series. You know what I mean? To find out more. At least that's what I would do if I was a normie and I just saw Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, if I just saw Into the Spider-Verse or I saw what Multiverse of Madness and I didn't know what was happening, I'd go watch YouTube and it'd be like, people would be talking about Loki. People would be talking about What If as ways that these things got started. And what they're doing now is giving people content that they're going to go back to. Like, I can imagine the numbers are going to get a big jump, right? So when we see after Multiverse of Madness, imagine what the numbers of WandaVision are going to look like. Imagine what the numbers of What If is going to look like after we introduce this multiversal concept. So they're giving they're giving these things, putting these things out there, giving juice for the normies who are going to come in and watch this stuff and not really understand where we're at in the MCU. I'm going to go back and watch it. I guarantee it. That they're going to be like, all right, I got to go check this series out now. And the reason why I know it happens is because I have normie friends who I talk about this all the time with. It's like, oh, that's, all right, I got to go back and watch that now. I got to go back and watch that. Like when I'm talking about things that happen in Ragnarok and Thor, I'm like, yeah, this is what happened. This is what happened. 9 times out of 10, they didn't watch Dark World, and they go back and be like, oh, I need to go back and watch that. So it's going to be the same thing here. So yeah, the shows might be a lot for nerds right now. Like it might just be nerds carrying the shows right now. But as soon as this stuff pops up, as soon as Young Avengers comes out on film or what have you, and they go watch it and they see Kate Bishop, like, oh, I'm gonna go back and watch Hawkeye. So I think it's like the same type of vibe, right? I think it's the same type of thing. Marvel has set their own bar high. We're so critical of Marvel content because they made us that way. Yeah, and that could be true. But honestly, I will argue that, man, Marvel, the first few phases of Marvel was not a successful run. It's like what we got in phase 3. I think phase 3 they hit, if I can remember correctly, they hit their stride then. From, I would say after Guardians, if I remember correctly, and I think Guardians of the Galaxy was in phase 2. But after Guardians of the Galaxy, then you jump to, I don't think Ant-Man was all that great, but people kind of love Ant-Man. I'm not going to knock it, so I'll add Ant-Man up there. But after Guardians of the Galaxy, I think they hit a strong stride. I think they hit a really strong stride and got into, they got into Civil War. They got into Spider-Man. They got into Black Panther. They got into Doctor Strange. They hit a great stride leading into, because, coming off of Black Panther and coming off of Thor Ragnarok, it was crazy. And Winter Soldier too, right? Those, especially, I think Winter Soldiers would really kind of kicked it off. But I didn't, Winter Soldier's a gem that came before I think that run came up, right? And maybe, and what, did Guardians of the Galaxy, didn't Guardians of the Galaxy come out after Age of Ultron? No, it came, so I would even take Guardians of the Galaxy off that list. Because I don't think, because what I'm trying to get at is that they didn't run straight through. So I even take Guardians of the Galaxy off that list and go from Age of Ultron on. Age of Ultron really didn't hit for everybody like that. So if we start off with, say, Civil War on, they hit that stride. Look, my top 5 of my MCU movies come after Civil War. Except the only thing that comes before that is Winter Soldier. So those things building up and those things coming up, that was just a dope run. And that run is what got us these expectations. But we didn't have these expectations in 1 and 2. And I think that's what we kind of got to, it's not going to happen because we already have these expectations, but I wish we could properly temper them back down to what we had during that era of 1 and 2. Long way for me to say that. I probably lost a lot of people talking all the way around. Look, I want to get into these Hawkeye predictions before we get out of here. God doggone it. Let's see. I don't want to get Trev on here to see what Trev was talking about. I'm not getting Trev on here. Let's see. I've rewatched the hell out of many MCU movies leading up to Endgame. I've not rewatched any of the movies or shows, regardless of whether I like the content or not. That is a problem. But Felicity, I just, like I said, I don't think the groundwork is there. I don't think we'll necessarily go. I haven't rewatched. I started rewatching WandaVision. I didn't finish it. I haven't tried to rewatch Loki. I haven't rewatched What If. You know what I mean? I haven't rewatched these shows either. And I do think that's a problem. But I know, like, with Loki, I'm going to go back and rewatch the first 2 episodes. I mean, the last 2 episodes, right? I'm going to go back and rewatch the last 2 episodes of Loki. I know I am. And, like, it's the same thing. Like, as more things are going to come out, we're going to go back and watch these key parts of these shows that we missed. But what I will say, though, is that, like, I don't go back and rewatch. I've rewatched all of the MCU movies. You know what I mean? I've watched them countless times. But the ones that I purposely want to go back and rewatch, it's not a lot of them. Like, so I don't think that's really new. I think what the MCU needs, really, what carries the MCU, like, maybe out of the 23 movies, maybe 10 movies carry the MCU. You know what I mean? Maybe 10 movies carry the MCU out of 23. Not to say that the other, I think the MCU might have maybe 3 or 4 movies that I just don't like. But movies that carry the MCU out of the 23 is like 10 of them. But I move on. Look, that's another conversation for a rating list or something. But that's a great point. Like, I like the points you guys are making tonight. All right. So let's get into some of our predictions here. Let's see. I'm going to do a survey. Let's see. Great Google survey. So we're gonna do this prediction shit. I'm gonna create it. All right, here we go. Episode 4. Oh shit. All right, so here we go. We're gonna come over here. Come back to the training ground. We're gonna make this shit together. So let's see. I got questions, right? I came up with 10 questions, and if you all want to put in more questions, we can do that. But I'm gonna fill this out, and then we're gonna put it in the Discord right then for you folks to get on. And like I said, if you get more predictions right than me, then you'll go up a belt level. We'll do that. Or I want to do that because I want to kind of be able to go up in belt level too. So let's see here. We got 11 questions. If you get 7 right, you go up in belt level. Okay, we'll do it that way. If you get 7 right, we'll go up in belt level. So here is my prediction list. Number 1, in episode 4, will we see Kingpin? Excuse me. Yes. No. Perfect. All right. Thank you for listening, because this is going into the Discord right after. All right, next question here. For some normies, some nerd shenanigans, go to the Discord. Do we think Yelena Belova is showing up this episode? All right. Let's see here. And if you guys have any questions, if you guys have any predictions that you want me to add on, let me know. Let me know. All right. Now, one thing I find is very interesting that I think Ronan could be in danger of being exposed is Clint. So is Ronan is exposed as Clint, or somebody finds out that Ronan is Clint? You know, maybe he's not exposed to the world. Um, but yes or no? But I think it's very possible that Ronan could be exposed as Clint, bro. All right, I'll speed this up here. We find out Eleanor's Madam Mask. That's the next question. Madam Mask. All right. Let me know what you guys think about these questions. We find out who kills Amand. Oh no, I probably spelled that wrong. Amand. Amand. Maybe it's just. All right. We got like a couple more questions, and then I want to get Trev in here. All right. Pizza Dog makes another appearance. Will we see Pizza Dog this episode? Alrighty. Clint and Kate joins sides with Jack and Eleanor, which I think is a very big possibility that they could have a conversation and Eleanor like lies to get Kate on her side or something like that. I think that's a very big possibility of something that can happen next episode. Armand, thank you. I said Armand, thank you. Armand. I'm a terrible speller. But Abby K has got my back. All right. And it says, will we see, two more questions here. Will we see Echo this episode? Then the last question is, does Clint get another depressing Christmas family call? Basically, will you cry? Bruh, them Christmas family calls, man, they get me. And then the last question is open form, right? Short answer. Paragraph. We'll let you do paragraph. What is your prediction? A random prediction, and this one will be worth 2 points. So put in whatever you think, anything that you think I didn't put on. Alrighty. Alright. Let's say copy. Alright, copy that there. Cool. Alright, we'll put that in the Discord. Fill that out. What's going on, Trinity? How's it going, man? So make sure you go down to the Discord, fill that out. And like I said, it's somewhat like Star Wars Santas. You know, if you get it right, I'm gonna tighten up, but basically everybody's a white belt right now, including myself. Everybody's a white belt. But each week, the more answers you get right, the more you can be a black belt. So we're gonna start off there. Boom. There we go. Hope you guys love it. Hope you guys love it. All right, go out there, do that, and share it out too. I'm gonna put it on Twitter for folks to fill out, but share it out as well. And we go over the results on Wednesday during our stream and see where people are at. See where people are at. But I am gonna close the form on Tuesday night at midnight. I'm gonna close it in on Tuesday night at midnight so people can't cheat. Like I said, when you get a black belt, you get to be on the screen. You know what I mean? Get your name on the screen somewhere like Star Wars Santa. Tell Santa I'm doing it. And maybe Santa wanna fill it one out himself and get some Hawkeye love. All right, look, I want to talk about this. Then we got to the final round grounds. I get T-Rev in the building. T-Rev, get him up in the building. Talk about the Inheritors. Hawkeye episode 5 will reportedly blow up Twitter. This is coming from the direct, from what I'm reading on here, but I'm pretty sure they're just co-phrasing for what somebody else is saying. But either way, doing what the direct does best, putting it in front of my face in ways that I like to read it. So we will be talking about the direct. We're talking about it from the direct. It comes to say here, Marvel has delivered its first truly festive outing with Hawkeye, a wholesome street-level adventure in the criminal underworld of New York, starring original adventurer Clint Barton and young Archer Kate Bishop. With half of the series already streaming on Disney+, viewers have already been treated to plenty of action, spectacles, and surprising moments. But the Archer-centric seems to have plenty more surprises to come before the credit rolls on the finale. This comes with both Florence Pugh and Elena Belova and Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin reportedly set to appear. Belova's appearance in Hawkeye. Blah, 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 blah. It says, as fans speculate on what to expect from the series' second half, recent comments from insiders have suggested episode 5 may shock fans. Here we go. This is the meat and potatoes of what we want to talk about. I hate kind of reading the intro to these articles. They get a little bit long to get to the meat and potatoes. This is according to insiders from TV Line. Hawkeye episode 5 will reportedly generate interest on social media, indicating a shocking reveal may be coming soon. When asked if they have heard anything about what's to come from Hawkeye, TV Line revealed the series' 5th installment should blow Twitter a bit. Should blow Twitter a bit. Pause. Should blow up Twitter a bit. Only that episode 5 I hear should blow up Twitter a bit. All right. Now, I think this is valid. Actually, if you recall, I feel like I was saying episode 5 would be lit. Because isn't it? Yeah, episode 5 should be coming next week. This week is episode 4. So episode 5 is coming out next week, right before No Way Home. So that adds a lot of fuel to the fire. Like, you're going to have Hawkeye supposedly blowing up Twitter right before No Way Home comes out. That's not going to be long-lived. I tell you that right now. Unless it ties into No Way Home. Unless Spiderman comes into some shit. Like, unless it ties into No Way Home, that'd be lit. Bruh, what if they put out a No Way Home trailer at the end? Nah, they wouldn't put out a No Way Home trailer at the end of Hawkeye. They would never do that. Bruh, they would be smart to do that though. But nah, anyway. Sticking on to the topic here. Episode 5, blowing up. I definitely think it's Kingpin. I kind of suggested that Kingpin will be showing up in episode 5. But it was for different reasons. Because I thought that, it would be because of what happened in No Way Home. And I thought that Kingpin would be coming over as a result of No Way Home where we get it explained. Is it going to be another boner? Why are they worried about Twitter? They need to worry about viewership and subscribers. Well, I think that might be where they're looking to try to attract the followers and the subscribers and viewers, right? Like, they might need Twitter to blow this up. That's where I'm looking at it. Why they just focus on Twitter, I don't know. but they're looking for like social media to kind of blow up numbers here and make this something for people to talk about. And to be real, to let this thing be out and to people watch it at one time. I think that's one thing that might be hurting these shows is that they're coming out week by week. A lot of people that I know aren't watching these shows when they drop. They're watching them maybe a month after they drop, like after they start, and like they're just watching it straight through. And that's how I'm the people I know that watch it that are not in my household. That's how they've watched this stuff. Other than WandaVision, I had one friend watch WandaVision all the way through, and Winter Soldier all the way through. I mean, not Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier all the way through. But when it comes to how they digest and watch these other series like Loki and What If, they've all watched them. Like the three friends that I had, the three normie friends I had that watched this stuff, they all watched them after they all like finished coming out, and watched them all at one time. Like maybe in like a week or so. So I mean, maybe they're trying to appeal to these folks on social media to be like, all right, now's a good time to start watching. I don't know, but regardless, you're right in the fact they need to be worried about that though too, and I think that could be part of why. So I don't think it's going to be a boner. I don't think they're setting themselves up to try to have anything negative on Twitter or social media. I think they're trying to set this up to be a bomb, not a boner, a bomb. But not like so. The fact that it's coming out before No Way Home, could it be No Way Home related? I don't think so. It's very possible now. Like, would you see Spider-Man? I don't know. Like, I don't think they want to do anything to spoil No Way Home. So to me, it's definitely Kingpin. I don't think Elena Belova will blow Twitter up. And I'm gonna keep it 100. Even if bruh, Nat could come in herself. Scarlett Johansson could come into the series herself in the flesh, and I don't think that would blow Twitter up. I don't think that would blow Twitter up. But Kingpin is definitely what they're talking about, right? Kingpin is definitely what they're talking about. I would love it for it to be Daredevil too, though. That's the thing. I would love to see Daredevil pop up in here too. It makes sense. Bring Daredevil into. They should definitely brought Daredevil into Hawkeye. That Netflix binge model got people. It did, Felicity. Like this whole cable, like. Here's the thing too. If they're gonna drop this once a week, they should be dropping this shit at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Now I get it. They don't want to knock out some of the viewership that ABC has, right? Like some of the things that come out on those nights. But if you're gonna be dropping shit once a week, they should definitely be dropping it at primetime hours for people to watch. 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Drop that shit when people can watch it at one time. Drop it then. I think that would be a wiser way to try to tackle this Netflix model. But I digress. Put a fist in the chat if you think they should be dropping this shit at 7 and 8 o'clock. Somewhat like they was doing with Invincible. But they were dropping Invincible at like 8 o'clock. I might not have been right there to watch it at 8 o'clock, but I damn sure went to go watch it at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I think that's a much better way to do it. But who am I? Who am I but a motherfucking nerd? A motherfucking nerd. Alright, but yeah. Alright, let's get out of here. Let me get Trev in here and get him in here for a couple minutes. And then we will hang out in the final round. Alright, let's see. Let me call Trev. Trev got his shit on, like, don't call me. He got his shit on, do not disturb. Trev talking about call me, add me into the stream. And Trev got his shit on, do not disturb. That's wild. You feel that way too, Felicity? Yeah. Like, Ashton, what is going on, bruh? How's it going, my man? Everybody in the class sitting around and say what's up to your moderator, Ashton, Ashhammer. How's it going, Ashton? Sneaking in through the back. It's all good. What's up? What's poppin'? give me while I'm waiting on Trev to accept my Discord request. There we go. Cool. There we go. Honestly, I feel like Sony Marvel and King. Hey, I'm kind of with you, bro. Kind of with you. What's going on, Dan the man? How's it going, brother? You doing good, my man? Trev, what's up, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
All right, cool. I gotta mute this music so people can hear you. All right, give me a little mic check. Say what's up to the folks in here.
What's up, folks? Can you hear me?
Yeah, all right. I think we're good now. At least they should be able to hear you. Ashley says, I
hopefully.
was asleep. I woke up out of nowhere. It must have been my spider sense. Had to be a spider sense, bro. How's
There
it
you
going,
go.
Trev?
It's going. I'm just was watching your show, was watching the Nerd Theory, and before this, and yeah, just kind of hanging out. Got 4 days off work after this, so
Sheesh. That's
yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
That's
man.
dope, man. Hey, so look, so get me on the same wave as you, because I know you're a savant. You're a comic head in this.
I'm not a comic king, but like, there's just some things like, so when I was just thinking about, I wanted to talk to you about the Across the Spiderverse trailer.
Okay.
Okay. So I feel like the hexagon imagery and all that, because that's first of all, that's a big thing just in the MCU with traveling through like, you know, when they're like when Guardians of the Galaxy, when they're warping through places and everything else.
The jump points, like that system there.
Yeah, the jump points. Yeah, and so I don't know. I feel like that's a shared imagery with the MCU, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's sharing that imagery, and so I think what we're gonna get here is we're gonna get them. I think like what's happening in the MCU is so it's untangling the multiverse, like from the one true or the perfect timeline that Kang made. Right. That, well, not Kang, but like, you know, the one variant of Kang at the end of time there. So he made that timeline. And
he's Nathaniel Richards. He's not King. He's at least Nathaniel Richards. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can.
But yeah. So.
Yeah.
So he's on since he's been so he that untangled the multiverse, right? So that's the multiverse is just there now. And so I think what Sony is doing is they're gonna take advantage of that. They're not gonna necessarily pull the Sony characters into like the MCU's they might cameo them, but it's not. I doubt they'll show them significantly. Like maybe Miles later on, but not this Miles.
Right.
Not like the animated Miles.
We'll always get.
But what I do think, is that we'll get voiceovers from the three Spider-Men, like Andrew, Toby, and Tom, and not necessarily in major roles, but they'll have the same way Oscar Isaac was. He had just had the cameo at the end of the first Spider-Verse movie, right? As Miguel there, right? So I think those three will cameo. Maybe in this movie, maybe in the part 2. And we're going to get, I think they're actually going to do Spider-Verse. So I think what we're going to do is you're going to, because with the multiverse busted open kind of thing, you're going to have Morlun and the Inheritors, which they eat spider totems, right? They hunt the multiverse eating Spider-Men. They eat them. They're like multiversal
deviants.
Vampiric. Yeah, they're kind of like vampiric creatures or hunters, and like Madam Web knows about them. There's a cosmic web kind of thing that they might go into this with this movie. I think is that they're going to. I think they're going to show that they're going to introduce Morlun and the Inheritors, and when I said Spidey-Ock. Yeah, something like that. I see Felicity's comment. We're all the Spider-Men, but so Spidey-Ock. If you remember, I don't know if you knew this or not, but like in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 700, I believe, off the top of my head, Doc Ock died. Right, he was dying of cancer. Okay. But he put his consciousness into Peter, and so that was the superior Spider-Man run. where Dr. Octavius, like Doc Ock, Otto Octavius, is in Spider-Man's body and he's Spider-Man.
That's crazy.
And so that happens during Spiderverse. So Spiderverse happens, well, and so you're like, when you're doing Spiderverse, some of Doc Ock is there in Spider-Man's body, like doing things and creating technology. That's why I think like the arm bracelets that Gwen is wearing, that Miguel is wearing. One of the Spider-Mans, which I think is probably the superior Spider-Man, Doc Ock Spidey, made these and is sending Spider-Man out to recruit other ones, right?
That is
yes,
completely makes sense because we already got it established in Into the Spider-Verse that Dr. Octavius is the one who knows how to be able to travel through multiverses, right? Like Doc Octavius is the one creating the collider.
Octavius in Miles's universe, the female Otto Octavius,
the female Otto, she's the one doing that. So that makes sense that continuing along that thread, that Doc Ock being into the spider, that makes complete sense, dude. That's like perfect sense. I mean, that's almost kind of like an Easter egg, right? Like that could be an Easter egg too. You could also kind of consider that an Easter egg, I guess, maybe hinting at.
And anyway, so I think they're recruiting. Yeah, so they're recruiting Spider-Man to fight the Morlun and the Inheritors. That's what happens in the Spider-Verse comic.
Okay.
And so I kind of think that's probably where they're going. I don't know whether it will be Morlun and the Inheritors, but I hope it is. But we'll see. Time will tell, right? I guess this comes out. Does this come out next Christmas? I think.
2022, it says, so maybe next Christmas. I'm not sure when it's.
I believe the original release date was like late 2022 because the original one came out late 2018, right?
I know they took a spot from Marvel for this movie. I remember they took like a spot from Marvel that was supposed to come out in 2022. They took like a movie from Marvel and like Marvel gave them this.
Yeah, they could have moved it up. Like, well, what's Black Panther's supposed to come out in November, right? November 2022. No, I think it's November 11th or November 22nd, 2022. Yeah, the Black Panther movie is supposed to come out like a year from now, right?
May, so Doctor Strange got moved back to May, and then Thor: Love and Thunder, right? That's what's after that, right?
Yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder is like July, I think now, or something, right?
It's moved back then, and then Black Panther 2. Damn, they better get fucking moving on Black Panther 2. But
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
You better get the fuck moving.
You gotta have a story. You gotta have a story that works and a actor that maybe wants to stay doing the stuff.
Facts. Man, but that's dope though. So that makes sense. See, but in this line, I think that makes sense that they're recruiting Spider-Man to go into
fight a bigger threat
bigger
anyway,
fight,
right?
Yeah, to fight Sony's. It'll be what brings Tom Holland over into a Sony movie, right?
Yeah, and so Sony owns.
Thanks, Abby.
Sony would own Morlun. They would own Morlun because he's part of the Spider-Man property, right? He was introduced, I think, in 2000 and I think he was introduced during The Other. Actually, now that I think about it, like if there was Spider-Man The Other, which came out like maybe 2007ish, 6ish. No, you don't know about that?
Nah. I'm still getting into the comic realm.
It made it's what's funny actually is Spider-Man the Other. It made Spider-Man like a stronger version of Spider-Man, and it made his web shooters organic because it was kind of based on the Tobey Maguire movies. Okay. They were kind of changing Spider-Man to change to the how Tobey Maguire has organic web shooters, right?
Right.
So. Oh, there it is right there. Felicity, but October 2020, the month before.
Month before Black Panther. Okay.
Yeah, the month before Black Panther. But yeah, so.
That's what's up now. Look, I don't know.
Go ahead.
I've heard stuff about Noel, like from the Dinner Nerds, Josh talking about Noel and stuff. I mean, is Noel somebody that they could be bringing somebody, like, recruiting to go up against in this? Like, could they replace
I mean, Null is like on another level compared to Spider-Man. Even Spider-Man, like Null is how would I mean Null in the comic books killed a Celestial, right?
Okay, right.
So he's like on Galactus's level. Like Null is like on Galactus's level kind of thing. He's not he's
group
like
of
he's a
Spider-Man.
meat. Yeah, like he's not even a group of Spider-Man probably wouldn't, like the Avengers wouldn't be able to beat him generally.
Okay.
It's not like it's, and so what, like when they just did the King in Black, which happened a few months ago. Spoilers for if anybody hasn't read it or if they're not going to read it. Well, then what happens is that there's the Unipower, I think, yeah. Which actually they saying that they introduced that in Eternals there, right? But Unipower, the cosmic power, which is an opposite. It's an opposite power. It's like an opposite symbiote of the Venom, not the Venom symbiote, but the symbiotes. It's like the symbiotes are the like the embodiment of darkness in the universe.
Okay.
And the cosmic power, which Spider-Man gets in the comics one time, which makes him like a Superman type character.
Okay.
It's like the opposite of the darkness symbiotes. It's like a light symbiote. And there's only one of them.
Thing, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
like
and so that's what ends up beating Null. Like, so light beats darkness kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's what ends up beating Null. It's not like just, and it's saying that it's Eddie Brock as Venom. Like Eddie Brock taking the Venom suit back and beating Null, but it's like it's a whole, like it's a big upgrade to Venom. It's a big power upgrade. It's a big everything upgrade. It's not like a bunch of regular Spider-Man are about to fight Null. And saying that Null is, he only just awakened in the universe. He was like in a lost, because obviously he was just recently created. So they have him. So he was beat by the Silver Surfer way back in the past, and then he came back from and he was gone for a long time outside of the universe, and he just recently came back like a couple years ago.
Yeah, no, I do.
But yeah,
I do remember.
Yeah, so he's like
reading the first.
Go ahead.
Like, how
Go.
he awoken or whatever.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, he's a character on a much higher power level,
Universal
much higher
kind of thing.
Yeah, much higher level than what Spider-Man generally deals with.
That makes sense. So that makes even more, the Inheritors are more of a realistic kind of.
Well, yeah, the Inheritors are like the Inheritors would be, you would consider almost like saying that they're like a souped up version of like Kraven.
Okay. Because when you were talking
They're
about
like,
hunting down, like that's what my head
Yeah.
instantly went to was Kraven.
Yeah, Kraven, right? Because Kraven hunts. So yeah, so they're kind of like a souped up version of Kraven.
Okay, that's dope.
But saying that they work on a multiversal level. Like they're hunting Spider-Man across the multiverse.
All right, man. You know my last thing, and I'll let you go. Like I love that, because to me, like for Tom Holland to come out of that, like when you like, I'm trying to tie this into live action, right? And like I don't know if you heard me earlier, but like when he's talking about like he can't hold the people back anymore, this kind of trailer makes me think that, but the people that he could not be able to hold back could be the Spider-Man that are coming back that are coming in from the Into the Spider-Verse. You know what I mean? Like that could very well possibly be Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy.
It could just be
pop up and come in there. It could be Toby and Andrew, but
it could be everyone, Kendall.
Every Spider-Man.
You know, not just Spider-Man. It could be everyone. You know what I'm saying when I say that? Like everyone. When Doctor Strange says he can't hold them back anymore, it could be like
every Spider-Man.
All the Fantastic Four, all the X-Men,
So you think
all
it's
this,
that?
all that.
Whoa. Okay, Trev. You think it could be that wild?
I think it could be like just think about his characters popping up as the movie fades to black, kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then because then if this is leading directly into Multiverse of Madness, that means Multiverse of Madness is almost probably like a part 2 to this movie, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a more Spider-Man centric movie, but there's Doctor Strange is also in it, right? And you're following Doctor Strange's story, and Doctor Strange's story will continue in Multiverse of Madness, right?
That is right.
So, Multiverse of Madness is going to be like it might pick up right where No Way Home ends, right? Right at the Statue of Liberty there or whatever, if that's the ending.
I definitely think that's the ending, and I wouldn't be mad if like after we get through the fights, after you get through everything going on there, like MJ saved or dies or whatever. Right after that, I wouldn't mind if there's like only 2 minutes left in the movie or 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Like you had that in.
Just looking at Felicity's comment, I think Felicity just wants a remake of the Most Dangerous Game.
I think
People
maybe
hunting
the
people.
Spider-Man 1 or 2 video games on the original Xbox. He was probably-
The
Yeah.
funny thing is that Craven in the Ultimate Universe was like he was like the what was the guy that died? The Australian guy, the Croc. I can't think of his name. Yeah,
Steve Irwin.
Irwin. Yeah, Steve Irwin. So he was like the in the Ultimate Universe, Craven was like a character like him. He was like a TV celebrity who hunted big game, and Spider-Man just one punch knocked him out. You know what I mean? Like he one punch knocked him out, and then he came back in a Sinister Seven is what they called it actually, the Sinister Seven in the Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
And he came back and he was genetically modified after that. But his first appearance, he was just like a celebrity big game hunter. He wanted to hunt Spider-Man, but Spider-Man just like knocked him out, no problem at all.
But yeah, bro, like back to what you were saying about the multiverse. Like I don't know, like I love it because I mean, like Daniel Fisher says, I'm with you with it being a part 2. I always thought of it being a part 2, but I never thought of like
Jared's comment there. Didn't the final battle of the first X-Men movie also take place on the Statue of Liberty?
It did.
So like let's say we have like you know, like all of a sudden it's X-Men 1, like the first X-Men movie kind of merging with the Spider-Man movie. Like those two universes merging together at the same point. Something like that, right?
So like, let me ask you this:
if they want to de-age all those actors,
would you feel like, to me, I feel like that's too big of a thing for them to want to do in a Sony movie? That's my only hang up. So let me ask you
the thing
this:
is, though, it's a Sony
Marvel movie.
So it's a Sony movie, but it's a Sony Marvel co-production, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Like Sony owns Spider-Man, no doubt. Like Sony owns Spider-Man as long as they keep making his movies.
Yeah.
But these movies are all like 50. I think they're all. I want to say almost. They're because that's the whole thing in 2019 when they got upset at each other is that Kevin Feige wanted Disney to have a bigger share in the cost of the production and a bigger share in the profits.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think that was a big part of it is that. Like, because they were only getting Kevin Feige was helping them, but Marvel wasn't getting any of like Spider-Man Far From Home and Spider-Man Homecoming. They didn't get any of the profits from that, right? And saying that, so same with
they got like 10%.
Civil War, Endgame, and all those things.
I think Marvel
they Sony didn't get any of the profits from those.
Yeah.
But I think Kevin Feige was trying to strong arm Sony so that Marvel got a share of the profits from the Spider-Man movie. If they featured MCU characters, he was strong arming them to get a big. So we'll help pay for the movie, but we want the equal share of profits. So if we put in 25, 35, 40% of the cost of the movie, we want that same percentage on the back end, right?
That's to shut Sony up to be like, all right, well, look, we're putting this much in the movie, so we can say this, or we can have this play in it.
Yeah, and also
so kind of weed them out, right? They kind of dent their pockets a bit to be able to take over, eventually, right?
Yeah, right. Well, so it's with Marvel co-financing the movie. I think Kevin felt like he'll have a bigger say,
right?
Even though they give him a lot, they obviously give him a lot of leeway with how, because it's tying into his cinematic universe, right? So they're obviously giving him a lot of leeway, but he probably still wanted a lot of say, like you said. Like I think Josh has said in his life, they want not Harry, but Norman Osborn's probably like the MCU version of Norman Osborn will probably appear. Like Kevin probably wants to use him for like Secret Invasion or, so he wants that version of Norman.
But let me ask you, but the whole reason I brought that up though was because
Go ahead.
I'm thinking, what if we don't even know who comes in at the end of No Way Home? Do you think that's too big? Like, do you think that'd be almost like excuse the harshness in here to the ladies in chat, but you think they give people like blue balls? Like if they want to save it,
they just say it and then it just fades to black and they don't show anyone.
Yeah, like if it's as big as what you like, bro, I'm definitely here for it, and I think that would be dope if you just pick up in No Way Home. I mean, if you pick up in Multiverse of Madness, and you just have Doctor Strange like right in that same spot, and then we see like I'm definitely here for that. But at the same time, like bringing in those characters for like in a Sony movie, like to me is bruh.
But remember,
That could be suicide.
it's still a co-financed Marvel
but
movie.
it's still not all. But it's when the screen comes up, when it comes up on the opening screen, it's gonna say in association with Marvel Studios. So like it's to me, it's like I don't know. I feel like he want to save that for something that don't even got Sony's name on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I do hear what you're saying there. I do
like,
hear what you're saying.
I think he want to, but
Okay, so
as-
what's
as
another
somebody who
Sony?
would
What's another?
love to see that happen? I'm like, I'm like shit. Just give me. I would take the blue balls. Give me the blue balls and have nobody else pop up and open up the can of worms that way. Like I'm with it. I'm with that. But what
Yeah, man.
What you about to say though?
I'm just trying to think of a character that Sony could use. That would be a big enough that would make Doctor Strange react like that. That the audience would also immediately recognize as being like it's important enough to recognize as being an important character from multiversal stuff, kind of thing, right?
That's why I mean, but that's why I was just thinking it could be the folks from
A different Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Like a whole bunch of Spider-Man from the
I think
Spiderverse.
it maybe be like 5 more Spider-Man or what have you. Like he's like I can't hold him back, and because also too it looks like the stuff that we see from, to me at least, like the purple dottish type of stuff that we see like in that part of the trailer. Like it kind of reminds me of Into the Spider-Verse, which I always thought like could be a possibility of like It looked like the Into the Spider-Verse thing was breaking. But like I was like, nah, it's no way. I didn't think it was really a possibility. But now this trailer makes me feel like it is a possibility because it's like
Really,
meanwhile across the Spider-Verse. Like what the fuck do
It's
you mean? Meanwhile?
it's too weird if they don't. It'd be really weird if they're doing multiverse stuff in the MCU, and they're not going to tie in, or the animated Into the Spider-Verse with Lord and Miller. They're not directing it, but they're producing it. Aren't going to tie into that. Like so we had Into the Spider-Verse. We had a taste of, like you said, like the female Octavius making multiversal tech.
Yeah.
Right. But now we have the multiverse literally busting wide open in No Way Home / wherever else is all this other stuff is happening, Loki, everything else. Like we have the multiverse busting open. So that means, and if like you could easily affect that across a whole bunch of different like it'd be stupid for Spider-Verse not to be using that. Because they could easily use it, and they could just do animated forms of the Spider-Man, right? That's what I'm like. So it has. I think it's definitely going to be related to the MCU content. They probably won't have MCU characters in it. Like I doubt we'll get an animated version of Iron Man or something, right? Or an animated version of like a Sony animated version of those, right? But we'll get animated Spider-Verse, and the reason will be what happened in the MCU.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, I think Into the Spider-Verse already happened because of what happened in it. Honestly, bro, like anything at this point is kind of like a retcon to me, as far as for not a retcon for the MCU, but a retcon for like the Fox universe, for the Sony universe, or even shit that have Blade in it. The only reason that this stuff is even happened back in 2000 is because of what happened in Loki. Like that's the only reason why any of this stuff even exists, even like to our Marvel characters. It's because of what happened in Loki. Even though even though it came out in 2000s, it could be explained. So the fact that
it's like it doesn't. It's just a variant universe, and now that the variant universes are they're not meshed together in one universe, they're busted open. So it's. I can't think of what does he call it again? I can't think of what he calls it.
Now, I was about to say Stormy, but Jared, he said this in the Discord, and I did see this before I popped in here on an article, But I don't know if you're still looking at the screen, Trev. But here's we got some screenshots of, and bro, this looks like he's at a different time, a point in time when he's like, I can't hold them back. I don't know. I kind of thought about this too as well. If you're looking at the screen, Trev, like we see this and they have the audio playing over this part, but that's nighttime, and Homeboy looks like he is like somewhere during the day. But
Okay, I see this where he's
but we got some.
I see like I see where Jared posted here where like it starts off with yeah, okay, go keep going.
But nah, here's a better look at the. This definitely looks like Into the Spider-Verse. Like that's why I'm getting more and more convinced. At least to me, it looks like
The visualization of Into the Spider, like the visualization of across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Yeah.
So across the visualization in that it like where the hexagons are going and everything else, right? Like that's through. I think that's supposed to be through the spaces between the multiverses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what you wouldn't know this. The bleed in the DC comics. It'd be like the version of the bleed.
Okay. But even
like the spaces between multiverses.
But even then, though, we're getting way off topic. But I mean, even then, though, like, I feel like the way that it looked, like, it kind of, like I said, it kind of reminded me of like the way it looks in the What If series, like the way those webs look in that trailer in the What If series. Like you got those like prisms, you got those like bits of glass to represent each different.
That the watchers looking through and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it looked like in that trailer in the Into the Spider-Verse or across the Spider-Verse trailer. These webs just look to have taken the place of that. So maybe they don't have the access to get to just any point of time in the multiverse, but they have access. These webs are how they're connected, and they get access to to their Spider-Man's multiverse, if you will, across.
Well, again, there's the cosmic web or whatever, right?
That's what I'm kind of referring to, right? Like you're able to connect through those. I'm not that familiar with the cosmic web. I heard it, but isn't it something similar to where like it connects the all the Spider-Man?
It's just, I think it's just it's like the Spider-Man version of all these things anyway. But
yeah, so I don't know. That's what got me here, and that's what got me thinking this, man. But who knows, bro? Like I would love it if dude, you got me hyped. If we got to see all the X-Men or whatever come in that way. But look, I'm gonna have to let you know. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, man, no worries.
Downstairs. But look, anything else you want to hop on, like parting?
No.
Shots?
No, I'm good. I just wanted to talk to you about it because it's a really interesting thing to talk about, and I don't get a chance to talk about it every day in my normal life, right? So
yeah, hey, well, it's all good. Thanks for hopping on to talk about it, bro. Anytime, man.
All right, man.
Anytime.
Take it easy, Kendall. Have a good night.
You too, dude.
Yeah. Bye now.
I appreciate Trav coming in there. Look, last minute, we want impromptu call in, but it was dope. But I appreciate the conversation. Definitely appreciate the conversation. Could have talked a lot longer. But your boy got to get on out of here. Your boy got to peace out. So, damn, I don't have that audio in here. It's crazy. So, as I always say, look, let me hit on these. We had a couple more comments in here. I want to hit on those. Felicity, all right, go to Felicity. Tiger Best. Yeah, it did take place on the Statue of Liberty. Faggy is going to end up at Sony. Pascal is looking like a clown right now. I'm weak. Yo, Pascal looking like Rachel Dolezal right now. Hold up. Amy Pascal. I was wondering, like, Amy Pascal got some black in her or something. Because the way she was looking with that fro, I'm like, is she trying to pull off a Dolezal? Like, what in the hell, Amy Pascal?
And have a pattern.
I'm like, yo, is she trying to pull off a Dolezal? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on with you, Amy Pascal? What the fuck is going on with you in that hair, homegirl? Because this shit, girl, you looking wild and crazy. And I'm like, yo, it look like she trying to have a fro. And I said, don't be trying to Dolezal me, homegirl. Don't be trying to hit me with that Dolezal. That's all I'm trying to say. Which I still think is Rachel Dolezal shit is wilding and crazy. And I got some thoughts I'm gonna keep in my head about that.
Women prowls around the streets all hours of the night.
I'm not going down that rabbit.
Like an animal.
Maybe I didn't make another. No, I wouldn't even make another channel. These thoughts I keep in my head.
Heaven knows where it might end.
Alright, let's see here. Alright, I think that was it though. Oh, wait a minute. Why is MJ even at the statue? Facts, like why is she even? Because you know why she's there. They took her, or Ned. They took her in Ned. Simple. Simple Dr. Octavius and Green Goblin philosophy. Take the loved one, put her in danger. When Ned is falling off of the statue, won't that mean he's definitely not Green Goblin? Oh yeah. Ned's definitely not Hobgoblin. Ned is definitely not Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin. Your boy your boy Myrtle just said that in the video. In that video, he just came in and shot in the studio. Dolezal, hey, right, bruh? Let the lady live if she's Jewish. Look, if she's Jewish, then I apologize. I mean, I ain't saying, like, you know, I kind of like this look that she has better than some of her other looks. Like, to be honest, she looks better. Yeah, like, she definitely looks better right there with her hair like that. I think she definitely looks better than she does with straight hair. But, yo, that shit just caught me off guard, bro. We'll let her live, though. We'll let her live. We'll let her live. Look, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. It's been dope. Much love. Come back Wednesday night. We will be going over Hawkeye. Make sure you go to the Discord. Go to the Discord. Fill out the form. Give me your predictions. Earn your black belt here in the dojo. Get your name here on the screen, on the stream. And yeah, it's lit. Like I say, go watch something nerdy. Go watch something MCU. Go watch something DC. Go watch something Star Wars. Go watch something Amazonian. Go watch some Amazonian shit. Go watch some shit on Netflix. Be a Netflixian. Go over there, watch that shit. Share it with a friend. Make them a normie. Bring them here. We'll turn them into nerds. I don't know why I felt like I was struggling just to talk about that whole dilly dally. But regardless, do that shit. Bring them here. We'll turn them into nerds. I am your normie sensei, Master Kunch. I will see you all on Wednesday night.
Women prowls around the streets all hours of the night. Just like an animal. Maybe
out.
he's the vampire. I'm sorry you got some of that, Klingon. Heaven only knows where it might end.
Alright, see y'all. No bars tonight. Just emo dancing. Felicity said that outro though. I gotta bring it back. The outro is slapping. Hey, 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 hey. definitely